All right, quick commentary on the article I just saw. It says Brock Lesnar tested positive for some type of illegal substance, probably steroids or something like that. Performance enhancing drugs, basically. So he's always denied it. Just looking at his body, I don't really know him much, but just looking at his body, you know, I feel that he's on it. And before this information even came out, I was like, he's on steroids, not just him, but all of them. And then John Jones was tested positive as well. And my feedback on all this is that, as I stated in the other video, they're all on it. And they said that he might get suspended for 2 years, 4 years. I mean, just think about another thing. Lance Armstrong. He was on it for all those years. He won all those yellow jerseys, made all this money. Then he finally gets caught. And what happens? I mean, he doesn't go to jail for life or anything like that. He gives back some of the money. I mean, these athletes, you got to think about it. The risk is worth it for them. They're like, if they don't take it, they won't make it. So if they take it, they make it, they win it, they get the money, and then now the government or the agency, the anti-doping agency, has to prove that they were on it. And when they finally prove it, if they even can, then they just suspend them, or they might take the money back. But if they weren't on it, they wouldn't have the money to begin with. They wouldn't make it to begin with. So think about it like this. Say somebody, he's not on any performance enhancing drugs. Then it's impossible for him to make the Olympics. He takes the performance enhancing drugs and it gets him in the Olympics. He gets in the Olympics. If he loses, well, he wouldn't even have had a chance to compete anyway without the drugs. If he wins, now they have to prove that he was actually on it, and that's not easy to prove. And then if they actually do prove it, then what do? They just take away his gold medal. They take away his money. The gold medal and the money, he wouldn't have got it anyway if he wasn't on it anyway, because he wouldn't have even made it to the Olympics. So you look at the risks involved for these athletes. There's absolutely no reason for them not to do it, because they cannot make it to where they're at without these drugs. So it's so apparent. Lesnar, Jones, already like 2 people in like a matter of like less than a month for the same event. And these agencies, I guess they're finally being a little bit more strict on the UFC. I think in the past they weren't. They didn't even have, when the UFC was getting popular, before getting as big as it is now, it was just more unregulated. People weren't, they weren't testing these people, these fighters, and nothing like that. Now there's more testing going on, and they're catching more of them. So now these fighters just have to learn. They're just going to try to learn to hide it better. But like I said, they wouldn't even make it to that level without the drugs. And to them, it's worth it. And you got another thing is, you got somebody like Lance Armstrong and all these cyclists that are doped up on all these drugs, and all they're doing is cycling. That's all it is. Cycling is supposed to be seen as like one of the cleanest, less, it's not aggressive. It's just, you're just cycling. And you got these track runners. All they're doing is just running, but they're still taking it. If these runners and these cyclists are taking it, then Of course the fighters would take it. They got the most dangerous sport that's allowed by law. They're going in there, putting their health at risk, shaving off years in their life. They don't mind dying 30 years early. So what makes you think that they're gonna not take steroids? They know that if they don't take it, they won't even make it to that level. And if they don't make it to that level, there's no money, there's no fame. Once they take it, then these agencies have to prove that they're on it, and that's not an easy thing to prove. So, as an outsider, it's just makes more sense to just look at all of them to be on it. Because so many people are cheating out there. It's like you don't even know what's real, what's false anymore. I just go with my gut feeling. My gut feeling tells me that all this stuff is fake, which in my eyes it is. And that's why I really feel that we shouldn't compare ourselves to these so-called professional athletes. I think we should focus on our own personal development, because we know for a fact what we're on and what we're not on. And we know what's real. We know what's achievable according to our own standards. But once you start comparing yourself to outsiders, there's just so many cheaters out there that it's pointless. It's like you're comparing yourself to something that doesn't exist. Where is the real athlete that's not cheating? It's pretty much like non-existent out there, because they're all cheating. And I think this just kind of further exposes how corrupt and fake this stuff is. WWE, UFC, and all this stuff like that, boxing, all of it. But that's my thoughts.